Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply. It's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Today is Tuesday. I'll be joined by my co-host in just a moment, Rob Regish, to perform the BluePrint hour. Today is October 6th. And won't it be wonderful when 2020? Anyway, before we get started, of course, I always have to thank my title sponsor, Legendary Foods. EatLegendary.com. Use the code SHR10, not just for the 10% off, but to let them know that you learned about them here on Superhuman Radio. And check out their nut butters. If you're a fan, like if you like peanut butter on things, crackers, or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or you like to put peanut butter on ice cream, a lot of people do, by the way. I never knew that. They have the best nut butters in the world. Decadent Flavors. My favorite is the apple pie, cinnamon apple pie. It's just unbelievable. Chunks of real apple in it. And no sugar, but they taste like they have sugar in them. They don't. So you can stay in your lane if you are a low-carb, low-sugar person. Check them out. EatLegendary.com. Use the code SHR10. And now we play Coach Rob's music. Get that started.
Calling all Blueprint Army. Fall in line. It's time for the Blueprint Power Hour with Coach Rob Regish on the Superhuman Radio Network.
Hey, Rob, how you doing, brother?
I am doing great. How about you? I can barely hear you.
You may want to turn your volume up, I think. Is that possible for you to turn your volume up just a little bit?
You able like to
right?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, so I'm doing really good. How about you?
Good. Training is going good. Sleep is going good. I'm 2 weeks, actually 2 weeks in a day, completely caffeine free.
Yeah, you were telling me.
I have more energy. I wake up with energy now. It's the most miraculous thing. I was just telling my buddy Billy.
Yep.
Because he and I used to have a ritual where we would crack open a Bang energy drink and I'd call him and we'd talk first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And I don't do that anymore because I'm not drinking Bang energy drinks. I was telling him, Billy, man, I have energy from the moment I get out of bed now. It's just the most wonderful thing. I mean, I'm doing cardio in the morning again. I've had to do cardio. I haven't been doing it because I wake up in the morning and I feel like a schlub. And now I get my clothes on, go down, and I get on the treadmill.
At what point in those 2 weeks was it the toughest for you?
The second and third day were horrible.
Yeah.
I didn't feel good. I was so weak. Like weak. Like walking up the stairs, my legs started to like fatigue.
Really?
That week, yeah.
Wow. So you were up to about a gram a day too, weren't you?
Over a gram a day. Oh, well over a gram a day. Hey, look who's here. We were just talking about you, Andre. Andre from South Africa is here.
Yeah, awesome.
Pretoria, South Africa.
Good to have him.
When we were kids in school, we used to have to sing that song. We are marching to Pretoria. I was in like third grade, I think. We learned that song and we had to sing that song. So, there you go. Hey, Andre, guess what I'm eating? I'm eating Drawers and Biltong from Select Savory Snacks. Everybody in the audience can save 15% off if you go to shrnetwork.com/SSS. I'm sorry, .biz. Natalie's going to kill me. shrnetwork.biz/SSS. You save 15% off the best meat snacks in the world. Andre was happy to hear that that I'm eating biltong because that's a regular snack for people in South Africa.
It tastes phenomenal. And when I say that, I truly mean it. I sent away for the sample pack.
Right.
And every single one, they're knocking it out of the park, man. I tell you, that stuff is, you really can't even make any comparison to beef jerky.
No.
It's on a whole nother level.
And you know what the best part is, Rob? 2 ounces is 32 grams of high quality beef protein.
Yeah, that's
like a handful. There's 32 grams.
I know. And so there you are, right? I mean, you really don't need to supplement it with anything.
Well, not only that, but it makes meal prep so easy. Like meal prep, you could just took 2 ounces and throw it in a plastic bag, and there's your protein for one meal.
Yep.
By the way, I got to share something else with the audience, because you and I both know successful dieting or successfully building new muscle, it's all about eating. All about what you eat, when you eat, how much you eat. And I discovered, so I usually go through Wendy's in a pinch and buy beef patties for $1.25 each. I can get 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of beef for $9 to $6. But they don't start cooking their beef patties until 10:30.
Oh.
Well, I took a shot the other day. I went through and I said, hey, do you have eggs on your a la carte menu? And the girl looked and she says, yeah, we do.
Wow.
It's $1.37 for 2 eggs. Now, these are the eggs. Yeah. These are the eggs that they put on their breakfast sandwiches, so they're round, but they're real eggs. And so I said, give me 6 eggs, and can I get the 3 sausage patties? Yeah. The whole thing cost me $7.95. I did it again this morning.
That's a great keto meal too, right?
Yeah. So if you're in a jam and it's early in the morning and you need a post-workout meal because you didn't prep one to drink or eat after your workout, drive through Wendy's. Whoever you get, say, hey, I want to buy some things off of your a la carte menu. If they don't know what that is, tell them to get their manager. $1.36 for 2 eggs. Get 6 eggs. Get 1 or 2 sausage patties, and you're going to be well under $8, and you're all set. You got a great meal.
If Jen's listening, she gave me a big thumbs up. You know, she works so much. Sometimes she gets in a pinch. So that's a great idea.
Yeah,
it's good to know.
Andre from South Africa said, keep on eating biltong. You will get strong. Yes, I love it. I love it. I have a whole bag here next to me. Thank you, Andre. And thank you for being here today. Thank you for being here. So anyway, anything new with you that we need to announce before we start answering questions?
You know, I've had an exceptional experience with this Planet Earth CBD. This has really been my first experience with it. I ordered and am just started using the tincture. And it is literally from the first dose, greatly reduced pain. And my wife ordered not the tincture, but the greens product that they have, which if you look at how much CBD's in it and also what else is in it, that's a pretty darn exceptional buy.
Yeah.
You know, for a month's supply. And here's the best part. It actually tastes good. I haven't had it yet, but she tells me it tastes exactly like, I think it's an apple thunder type, apple turnover, something to that effect. Yeah, it's really, really good stuff.
Planet Earth has a special right now for our audience. These are sports supplements infused with CBD, pre-workout, post-workout, and a high-quality whey protein powder with CBD, full spectrum hemp in it. If you go to shrnetwork.biz/power, and power is in all caps, POWER, you'll save big time off of all of their specifically made for sports enthusiasts CBD products. So check that out for sure. What happened here? Where did all my questions go? Oh, here they are. I just scared the hell out of myself. Okay, so the first question comes from Greg Havard. He says, I really like your slant on training and was wondering what your thoughts are on the 5x5. Specifically, I'm wondering how you progress from week to week.
Yeah, it's a great question. So many listeners, I'm sure, are familiar with 5x5 sets of 5, either in its original format by Bill Starr or some of the newer spins on it. I specifically chose 5 sets of 5 for the BluePrint's cruise phase, and that proved to be a great decision because instead of just cruising and maintaining the gains, these guys were writing me left and right saying, I'm still gaining. 5x5 seems to hit the sweet spot for the vast majority of the training population in terms of volume, in terms of intensity. The only thing it can't tell you, no program can tell you this, is the proper frequency. But those are 2 out of your big 3, and that goes a long way towards getting you results. The weights that are used in order to achieve 5 solid reps, that's heavy enough to stimulate hypertrophy and strength gains, but it's not so heavy where it burns out your central nervous system. Stick with weights in the 90th percentile for more than 3 weeks and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You experience central nervous system disinhibition and you'll actually get weaker. Doesn't happen with 5x5. The weights, on the other hand, are also not too light, right? I mean, that wouldn't get very good results if we're just going in there curling Campbell's soup cans for thousands of reps. The muscle doesn't grow. It is my opinion that the total volume is almost perfect for the big compound lifts. And in fact, I think it's close to optimal for many of the smaller movements. But if we're talking bench press, squat, deadlift, or any variation thereof, 25 total reps, given the weights that are used around the 80th percentile, is just about perfect. It also does other stuff. Work capacity, that's another strength quality that it builds, depending upon, of course, how much total volume you're used to doing. But if you're coming from a world of 1 set to absolute muscular failure, 5 sets of 5 is going to be like jumping into a vat of ice cold water. But in due time, your heart and lungs will adapt to see you through it. As for making progress, right? This is the crux of his question, and it's probably the most crucial one. I like to start out just adding 5 to 10 pounds a week across all 5 sets in the early going. The truth is, if you start just a little bit back from where your limits are and build up some training momentum, you can do that for quite a while, at least in the early going. However, like anything, it doesn't last forever. And so when the going gets tough, I continue to add 5 pounds a week, but I bring the reps down to, say, 3. So instead of 5 sets of 5 on that particular workout, I do 5 sets of 3. It may not be the true 5-5 variation, but for the following weeks, I just stick with that weight until I can get to the classic 5 sets of 5 reps that the program calls for. You can and will gain for a long period of time, a good long while on that too. Thereafter, there are a million different ways you can do it. I would suggest adding 5 pounds and attempting to get 5 reps, let's say, on your first workout or first work set rather, only when you're still fresh. And then you might even lower the weight on the following sets, but do your 5 repetitions. And then the following week, you do 2 sets of 5, right, with that 5 pounds of additional weight. And you continue in that fashion until finally you can achieve all 5 sets of 5 repetitions. Whereas you could originally, only perform 1 set with it. So as you can see, right, there are a lot of different ways to gain, perhaps more so than any other method. And that's part of the flexibility of it that makes it work for people. That's just how I do it. I'm very focused on strength gains. Other people might not be. And you may have other variations to suit your physiology better. What matters most is this: whatever allows you to make progress, do it. 5x5 is the ultimate default routine if you don't know what to do.
Yeah, it works for just about everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's really hard to screw it up. Let me put it that way.
So Carrie Kruger, who also lives in South Africa, said, "Hey guys, Andre can't get all of the airtime." That's right, Carrie. There you go. Welcome.
Yeah.
All right. So the next question comes from Anderson Elroy. He says, "I'm not as into sports nutrition as I am greens." Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess. What can you tell me about them? Do you have any particular recommendation? Is he talking about like these powdered green supplements?
I took it to mean a greens product. Yes.
Yeah.
And so the first thing I'll say about greens type products is this: I think they're overlooked. I really do. Both in terms of your health, from a health perspective, as well as in sports nutrition. And at least when it comes to the latter, that's due in large part to the marketing of those products, because greens products are mostly marketed right for health and longevity, not performance. And of course, the demographics of the supplement market dictate such, you're dealing with young men mostly that are in good health. So they look at a greens product and think, geez, why bother? I'm not old. I don't need one of these. Has nothing to do with being old. The truth is that a good greens product will absolutely help you, I think, in your bodybuilding efforts. And they also offer clues, I think, as to where the next breakthrough in sports nutrition is coming. And I'll get into that in a second. The best greens product you can make, I think anyway, is the one that you can blend yourself, right? If you have a garden and you're growing kale and spinach and alfalfa, then those things are dynamite to put into a blender and make yourself your own greens product. Now, it's true there are other greens type things that don't come from the ground; they come from the sea and other places that you can't, I guess, grow. But it's a hell of a good start. Now, one bad thing about kale and spinach, etc., they're very, very bitter. Very bitter if you've never tried this before. However, you can still flavor with natural ingredients, including our old friend glycine. You just need a little bit of that stuff. Another is stevia, whatever you want to call it. Or if you can have carbs, certainly feel free to add fresh fruit. So there is a I guess I'll call it mass market product that I like. It's called Alcoplex Greens. It's made by a company by the name of Enzyme Process. You can check their history. They've been around forever doing greens products just like this. So, I trust their expertise. Alcoplex, if I'm not mistaken, has 9 deep green, I'll call them superfoods, and including things like spirulina, and wheatgrass, and one other, I forget the name of it, but I double checked the bottle. It yields over 2,800 active enzymes. And along with those enzymes, it packs very high concentrations of all, and this is what's interesting, all the essential and non-essential amino acids, or at least the vast majority. It also has essential fatty acids and a multitude of health promoting, I'll call them micronutrients. All of that for around 40, 50 cents a day. I don't think it exceeds 50. To give you an idea of just what one of those greens superfoods includes, let's look at spirulina. Spirulina is a blue-green algae and is otherwise known, or could be known, I guess, as pond scum. Yet it's actually one of the most nutritious and nutrient-dense foods that you're going to find out there. So just to start, spirulina is 60% protein, 60%, which is twice as much as some forms of red meat. It contains 18 amino acids, including all of the essentials, and 10 of the 12 non-essential amino acids. So that's pretty darn comprehensive, for a non dairy or meat-based food. It's also a great source of phytonutrients, iron, magnesium, the fat gamma-linoleic acid, GLA. And it's, believe it or not, it's being investigated right now in an attempt to end world hunger, due in part to its darn near miraculous ability to save starving children. And if you don't believe that, get on PubMed and punch in Spirulina, World Health Organization, and you'll see what I'm talking about. According to an economist, anyway, out there that's looked at it, Urs Heiler, who was a doctor apparently, meaning a medical doctor, just 1 gram of spirulina per day can correct malnutrition in a small child within a few weeks' time. That idea, by the way, is also supported by the United Nations, they're really looking hard at this issue. So look, here's the bottom line. However you do it, get your greens. You can grow them, you can blend them, or you can take a capsule and be on the lookout for other aquatic plants promising bigger and better things. And I'm talking both freshwater and saltwater, because I can tell you for a fact those beneficial things are out there, and probably 80% of the natural products that are available to support what we do, building muscle and losing fat, a good 80% of them are probably in our oceans.
So my 2 cc's on this is make sure everything you use is organic, because you may want to concentrate some of these biological beneficially healthy things from plant sources, whether they're from the ocean or not. And you also could be concentrating chemicals, agrochemicals in your body as well. Number 1. Number 2, if you suffer from autoimmune disorders, it's probably not a good idea to take a concentrated greens product. More and more evidence is coming out that, in fact, people who have autoimmunity, their autoimmunity tends to get worse with the more plant foods that they eat. And
that could be very, very important for my wife. Then they're currently testing her for RA.
If she has RA, we need to talk, because I'll help you get right past it.
Appreciate that.
Okay. So, but Dr. Grundy, he wrote the book The Plant Paradox. And
yes, I remember that.
And that, he did a good job with The Plant Paradox, and now he's off there doing smarmy stuff. He's trying to become more popular on social media and stuff like that. Don't hold that against him, because he shed the light on something that's really important. And that is that all autoimmunity leads back to plant-based foods, whether it's grain, corn, wheat, whether it's certain mushrooms. They all, it's not beef that causes autoimmunity. It's not chicken that causes autoimmunity. In fact, it's not even eggs. A lot of people say they're allergic to eggs. They're not allergic to the eggs. They're allergic to what they're feeding the chickens. Because that ends up in the egg. So if you have autoimmunity, you don't want to take a greens product. Or if you do want to take it, you start slow and low for a couple weeks and notice if anything changes. All of a sudden, do you feel worse? Is your bowel movement changing? Do you have, all of a sudden your knees are more achy? Don't take it. This notion that, Elisa gets mad at me. She says, I don't eat enough greens. Well, from an evolutionary perspective, we didn't eat greens all the time. Not in winter, at least. They didn't grow. Right. And we didn't have a Kroger's to go pick up, produce shipped in from another state or from a greenhouse somewhere. Yeah. And the notion that we must have greens in our diet is actually not true. Now, can some greens be beneficial? There's lots of things in broccoli that seem to be good. we have a show coming up about MS, Faith Fitness Guy, KK. We have a show coming up about MS. MS is an autoimmune disorder. It's completely reversible. I did a show with, oh God, what's her name now? Dr. Terry Walls, who is a physician, and she developed multiple sclerosis, and she was in a wheelchair. And today she rides her bicycle to school, and she walks, and she talks, and everything is great again. Completely reversible. Any autoimmune disorder is completely reversible because it's 99% the food you're eating and 10% reversing the destruction that food did over time that gave you autoimmune disorders. So this is going to be good. But again, be careful, tread lightly. If you think you have autoimmunity issues, don't go for because there's a company right now, they have great marketing. They have one bottle says fruit and one bottle says veggies. They're advertising on TV all the time now. And they're telling people, oh, yeah, you can get all your fruit and vegetables and just 3 caps of each of these.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that.
And the bottles are beautiful. The bottles, the fruit bottle is red. The veggie bottle is green. Terry Walls was on the show. She's not coming back on. She's not coming back. She was. There's an old show. I will find it for you. And if you message me somehow on Facebook or send me an email to onair@superhumanradio.net, I'll find, and give me a few days because we're in the process of moving. I'll find the Terry Walls interview and get it to you. This is a new doctor who wrote a very, very good book on treating MS yourself. But they have the great marketing, the red bottle, the green bottle, and all you need and all this other stuff. And concentrating that stuff in your body may not be good for you. This notion that everyone needs to eat more greens, it's complete bullshit.
Yeah.
Complete bullshit.
What did prehistoric man eat? I don't think it was all greens.
No, and like I said, in wintertime, and if your genetics come from relatively cold climates, you evolved with less access to plant-based foods. Think about that. Yeah. So anyway, wait, we have a comment here from Carrie Kruger. She says, I've had a wrist operation to remove broken bone and cartilage radius due to the possible RA and osteoarthritis. Would BPC assist me in recovery? I'm really struggling with the pain and mobility issue. Well, before I would look at BPC, I would look at your diet. I really would. Most people eat 9 to 11 foods every single week. If you would message me on Facebook what your daily and weekly diet looks like, we'll go from there. Let's start there. Anyway, so I digress. We're covering a lot of stuff. That's what happens on this show. People love this show because of the stuff that we go off on tangents, by the way.
I can also tell her real quick, look into Cissus quadrangularis. Its name in Sanskrit means bonding, and it's not just for joint issues. In fact, many of the early applications were for bone, right? So it's a happy coincidence that it seems to work on tendons, ligaments, and other stuff. But that would be one I'd take a good hard look at during your recovery period.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Brad Sovart says, so I just got the October issue of the BluePrint Bulletin. Another great issue. My question is, how do you decide which topics to address? I really look forward to it every month. And wondering if you take requests. I want to learn more about hemp and CBD products.
Yeah, so timely question. Similar to what we were discussing at the top of the show, the November issue, the next issue of the Bulletin, is going to look hard at not just CBD, but also CBD in combination with a few other things I've found that are just phenomenal. I mean, don't get me wrong, CBD solo, I think for most people, is going to be fine in terms of knocking out pain. CBD plus the things that I've kind of lined up are for people like myself with severe arthritis in my right elbow. Now, I consider myself fortunate. It's not a weight-bearing joint, but it stands nonetheless. CBD is going to be a big part of allowing me to train, right, productively. So there are now 100, I think, BluePrint bulletins in the archives. Each one covers 4 topics. And I'm very, very proud of that collection, that 100 issues, because for people really interested in anything related to strength training, the training itself, the supplements, gray area products, diets, it is a virtual treasure trove of information. And I might add, it's quite unlike anything else. I've looked at other newsletters, I've looked at other columns, I've looked at other websites. There's just something different about it. But be that as it may, the question was, how do I decide which topics I cover every month? The honest answer is it depends. It depends. So this past month, I got the word about a new supplement that's going to be debuting soon that is supposed to be revolutionary in terms of size and strength. Where have we heard this before? But after researching it thoroughly, right, I made the call, and I won't say which, but I made the call on whether or not this stuff is going to be worth the asking price, which looks to be a pretty penny, at least if this one company keeps the distribution rights and gets it out there. So, other times I might cover something if a new study is just published showing, or something, appears ahead of publication. If it shows promise, then it's incumbent upon me to report on that. I might not have the entire picture because it may be about a new compound that's not yet available and I haven't used it yet. So I can't tell you yet from practical experience. What I can tell you is, don't be surprised to see it start showing up on the shelves. And here's what the research says. And so let's see, the October issue, which is this month, deals with a simple dietary adjustment, macronutrient timing change that resulted in this study in significantly greater fat loss and faster, even when the control diet was matched calorie for calorie. And so in that instance, I'll report on that. I will occasionally take suggestions from subscribers, and I'll do my best to address those issues. But also, we do some very neat equipment reviews. Needless to say, when COVID hit, a lot of people went shopping for home gym equipment, and given the world and the way it's working right now, I still call that a very good investment. But we do some very unique equipment reviews, stuff that you can keep in your house, or you can bring with you to the gym if it's open, or outside to continue to make gains. I'll be having more of those, by the way, in future issues. So you can expect that soon as well. You should also know companies send me a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. Probably hoping, right, I'll talk about it on air. The honest truth is that the vast, vast majority of those products don't make the cut. They don't make the cut because, number one, I don't like free product, and I'll tell you why. It's because it instantly biases your feedback. Of course, you just got something for free. You feel incumbent to, review it positively. So if there's something I'm reviewing for the newsletter, I buy it myself with my own money. And then you can get as close to an objective review as you will ever get. So rest assured, next month, the CBD issue, if you will, is coming. It will be in depth. And believe me, I've found out some really interesting stuff about it. If you have any injury issues whatsoever, you're going to want to read about it. So that'll be coming soon.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. We have lots more questions to answer. And you're watching and listening to the BluePrint Power Hour. Go to CoachRobRegish.com to learn more about what Rob does. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Guys, you've heard about this revolutionary acoustic wave technology that improves your sexual performance. It's been used in Europe for 20 years and has a 90% success rate of reversing symptoms of ED. Even if you're not suffering from ED, it can take you back to peak sexual performance of your younger days. The Phoenix uses powerful sound waves to clear plaque blockage and substantially increase blood flow. It's easy to use, has no side effects, and can be done in the privacy of your own home. Doctors have been charging thousands of dollars for these treatments. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Phoenix and use the code SHR for a special superhuman deal. Regain your sexual prowess today. Whether your goal is to build muscle or burn fat, you'll find everything you need at Redcon One. Need help getting a good night's sleep? Try Fade Out, or the most popular pre-workout supplement on the market today, Total War. Sign up for their new Transformation Challenge and win $10,000, or shop for apparel that people at the gym will know that you are serious about your training. Need a testosterone booster that works? Check out Boomstick. Whatever you need, you'll find the best quality supplements on the market at Redcon One. Go to redcon1.com. That's REDCON, the number 1.com, or go to superhumanradio.net and click the Redcon One banner ad today.
When craving a snack, reach for Select Savory Snack Sugar-Free Biltong, the healthy alternative to sugar-laden beef jerky. They use a fattier cut of beef, making it more tender and flavorful. For mealtime, choose from their 63 seasonings, which are sugar and additive-free. From chipotle rub to savory pumpkin spice, you'll find an option to suit your palate. Go to shrnetwork.biz/SSS today. Use code SHR15 to save 15% on any meat snack or seasoning. Savor the flavor today. Mind Bullet is a kratom product derived from the coffee family to boost energy and creative juices. Mind Bullet comes in both pill and liquid form for the ultimate pre-workout supplement. When needing a little pick-me-up or to get through the morning fog, Mind Bullet will set your productive course fast. Go to shrnetwork.biz/mindbullet, all one word, today, and save 20%. No subscription required. That's shrnetwork.biz/mindbullet. Get yours today.
I love beef. And if you love beef, listen up. I've discovered the best tasting beef in the world, and that's not an exaggeration, at Piedmontese.com. The Piedmontese breed is famous from Italy for being lean and unbelievably tender, with half the fat and calories of traditional beef. Even typically tough cuts are tender when it comes from the Piedmontese cows. And for the first time ever, Piedmontese cows are being raised here in the USA. Get 25% off all beef and free shipping on orders of $100 or more at Piedmontese.com with code SHR. Go to Piedmontese.com and use code SHR today. You will never eat any other type of beef ever again. Are you still on the fence about Body Protection Complex BPC Oral from drseeds.com? Listen to Maggie Kuhn, one of the owners of the C-Bus Lifting Company gym in Columbus, Ohio.
I had been having some nagging tendon issues that weren't injuries, just things that were annoying. You know, I'm 58 years old, so just older tendon kind of issues. For us powerlifters, you know, we really don't stop training when we have just nagging issues. We just kind of keep pushing through. And I started the BPC. What I noticed was I was doing some heavy tricep stuff that would have killed me before when I had an elbow problem, and I was able to do this with literally no pain at all.
Go to drseeds.com, drseeds.com. Use coupon code SHR and save 20% off your bottle of BPC Body Protection Complex today.
This is the Superhuman Channel, doing reps with the weight of the world.
Something better I can use to make me stronger. I don't think a pre-workout's ever going to make you stronger. It may make you stronger, but it's not going to make you stronger.
Yeah. Can you speak up a bit?
I am speaking loud. Hold on.
Okay, there you go. I can hear you now. I don't know what's going on, but
hold on a second. Maybe my microphone, believe it or not. My microphone may be going. I may need to get a new mic.
now that I can hear really strong. That's the big difference.
555. Okay.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Oh yeah.
Let me just see something real quick. Hold on one second. Let me just see the audio recording.
Yep.
Test. Yeah, I'm there. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go.
So, just looking at the label, we'll start out in and see by label what it contains, and then I'll give you my take on things. And this is how I typically deconstruct a supplement to determine whether or not it's worth your while. So by label, it is 2.5 grams of beta-alanine, 1 gram of creatine nitrate, 500 milligrams of agmatine, and 500 milligrams of citrulline aspartate. It also has a whopping 419 milligrams of caffeine, most of which are simple caffeine anhydrous, right? Plus one longer acting form, 500 milligrams of choline, and 50 milligrams of both tyramine and hordenine. And hilariously, 25 milligrams of GABA. It also contains 2 milligrams of Yohimbi bark and allegedly 2 milligrams of alpha Yohimbine. So here's my analysis on that total formula. Of the 3 main ingredients, only the beta-alanine could be considered adequately dosed at 2.5 grams or so.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that was undoubtedly done. There's no question in my mind to give people the tingles, that paresthesia flushing effect, so that they get all excited and they say, "Oh, it's working." You
can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it. 500 milligrams of agmatine and 500 of citrulline. That's not going to do jack for anyone. You need gram amounts of both of those, and so both of them combined in the amount that they have there don't even come close. 1 gram of creatine, even if it's creatine nitrate, does nobody any good. And they're really displaying their ignorance here by putting it in a pre-workout. Studies conclusively have shown creatine, for it to work best, is taken post-workout. One thing that's not underdosed is the caffeine, which comes in at a whopping 420 milligrams or so per scoop. And that's particularly troubling because there are a lot of people out there who can't keep track of how many scoops they just took. Was it 1, 2, or do I need another one?
Well, he's buying the shooter. He's buying the single serving shooter too. Don't forget. So that's not his issue, obviously.
Well, okay, but most of the time they're sold in 30 serving little tubs. That much caffeine does get the kiddies all buzzing around and excited, and that's precisely why so much caffeine is in there. 25 milligrams of GABA, that might be the biggest laugher in the whole formula. All right, you need at least 3 grams to have any beneficial effect. And it makes no sense.
Rob, they would be better off using a gram of glycine because that produces more brain GABA than the GABA they have in there.
Yeah, and I don't understand. GABA's dirt cheap too. Why are they just pixie dusting that ingredient so bad? It makes no sense.
I guess the GABA's in there so you don't get overcharged, so to speak, from 400 milligrams of caffeine. It's supposed to probably slow everything down a little bit, tamper it down a little bit. But that 25 milligrams isn't going to do anything.
Right. I mean, I could see if there were 2 to 4 grams in there.
Yeah, or even a gram of GABA. Some people take a gram of GABA at night before bed, and it relaxes them, just makes them relax. But again, I would opt for glycine over GABA because GABA. Some people don't react well to GABA. Glycine, on the other hand, everybody reacts well to glycine. That'll take the edge off from the 400 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah, it's not used as much, which perplexes me, but it is what it is. The 500 milligrams of choline, the tyramine, and the hordenine are all, again, underdosed. Hordenine, by the way, I took that stuff once. It made me feel horrible. I don't know if I got bad stuff or what, but I'll never touch it again. And speaking of feeling awful,
yeah, here we go.
We get to Yohimbi Bar.
I can't take Yohimbi. It makes me clammy and sweaty and makes me feel horrible.
Especially if you combine it with 400 milligrams of caffeine.
I would feel like I was on Clen, and I've only taken Clen once, and I would never take it regularly.
Yeah.
Clen made me feel like I just wanted it to be over. I remember thinking to myself, I just want this feeling to go away.
Right. And so they even one up that by putting 2 milligrams in of Rauwolfia vomitoria. It's usually Rauwolfia serpentina, but it's just another name for Yohimbi. What they're alleging, though, is that it is the kinder, gentler alpha Yohimbi,
right?
Which I would bet every bank account that I have that 90% of the alpha Yohimbi on the market is just Yohimbi, and they know people aren't going to test it. They're not going to be able to tell the difference, even if it was alpha Yohimbi.
And let's be honest, you can buy caffeine tablets dirt cheap. Like you get a bottle of 120 for like $6. Just take 4 of those. That's the heavy mover in that blend you just listed.
Yeah, which was how I was going to wrap up with this. What we have here is maybe $4 to $5 worth of product, including the label on the bottle that it's in. And it's retailing for $25 to $35 for a month's supply. The sad truth, as you pointed out, is that you can pick up a bottle of 90 caffeine tabs, Jet Alert, at Walmart today for around $5 a pop, right? And take 2 to 3 of those, and you're going to get 95% of the same stimulatory effect that you would taking this Hyde, and you'll walk away with nearly 3 times of the real active ingredient that's in the stuff.
And stay away from, for the record, Yohimbine could have been a very mainstream supplement because it does increase libido. And anything that has any kind of sexual effect in this country, people love it. But you know what the problem with it is? It raises blood pressure dramatically, dangerously. So if you're some older guy in your 40s and you're like, I'm going to give this Hyde a whirl, you may end up at the hospital because you got chest pain, because Yohimbine raises blood pressure. That's why they came out with alpha Yohimbine, because theoretically alpha Yohimbine is not supposed to have any of the negative effects of Yohimbine, only the beneficial effects, which is nonsense. Because the things that give you a raise in blood pressure is also the thing that raises your libido.
Yeah, Yohimbi has a stimulatory effect of its own, but what you really need to know is this. It dramatically increases the stimulant effects, and I'm talking bad effects, stimulant effects of any other stimulant, in particular caffeine and ephedrine. Don't ask me how I know, but I do. Stay away from it. It's just not worth it.
And then to the other point. So I have been using massive amounts of caffeine for well over 20 years now. I first started using caffeine when I was hanging around the Mind and Muscle forums, because I was told that it was good to use as a pre-workout. It would make you train harder, more aggressively.
Right.
And the dozen or so times I've stopped using caffeine, I found exactly what I find now. I can train harder and longer without caffeine. And here's my theory on it. Caffeine causes adrenaline to just squirt out, and it washes you out. And you're not as strong. You're jittery, hypey, like you're going for that last rep, and you're just, the noise in your head is so loud and you're freaking out and you're worried and you just go, I can't do it. Where if you were calm, like James Bond calm, you just push that bar right up. And I'm telling you, we depend way too much on caffeine in this country for a variety of things, whether it's to get through the day of work or get through a workout. You want to be strong with what you have, without any outside agents to drug you into feeling strong. Then you're strong.
Yeah, you said it. You said it.
I mean, you look at powerlifters. What do they use? They use nose torque. They don't use caffeine. If caffeine really provided the extra strength that it's supposed to, I mean, Coach Wade, he never used caffeine. He used nose torque that amyl nitrate stuff. You hit it a couple times and bam, it opens up your blood vessels. It actually lowers your blood pressure.
Right.
I mean, bam. But you don't see powerlifters taking 1,200 milligrams of caffeine a day. You don't see strong men doing it either.
Yeah, it's very telling. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said, you get all jittery and you'll feel like you're strong, and then you get under the bar and you find out
you freak out. You freak out. You're like, no. You want to be calm. You want to be like James Bond. Mike Berardi says, I think I have a body image disorder. No matter what progress I make or what picture I look at, I'm very critical of myself. It doesn't interfere with my day-to-day life, but it's clearly driving a lot of my behavior. How do I get away from thinking like this? Wow.
Well, first off, welcome to the club.
Yeah, we all feel inadequate. That's why we're all training, just for the record.
Right. And so kind of work with me here, because I have a unique perspective, and fortunately or unfortunately, depending upon how you look at it, I speak from experience. So people like me who at one time couldn't look at himself in a mirror, right, are being told, you have a problem, a body image disorder. Okay, that's pretty clear. But I'll give you my perspective. I actually think it's an advantage, or at least it was a big advantage for me. And I suspect it's a big advantage for other people. Here's how. So when I was younger, I knew two things. I hated how I looked, and I wanted more than anything to change that. In particular, my legs. I wore long sweatpants in the summer. I knew the way to bigger legs was bigger squats. I also knew that was going to be pain probably beyond what I could comprehend. So I went out and I bought Super Squats, which was probably the most extreme program, at least at that time. But I was willing to do extreme things to change how I looked. Now stop for a second and let that really sink in. Are people that are happy with how they look going to do extreme things, right? Like 20 rep breathing squats until they drop, right? So their legs will change? Nope. Is their body going to change any for the better because of extreme things like that? No. These so-called reasonable people will never engage in that type of behavior. And some of that's good and some of that's bad, right? In fact, I was told more than once it was a form of self-inflicted torture or self-abuse, right? Obviously by someone who didn't know any better. But the point remains, if you hate how you look just enough, you will do extreme things to rectify that. Now, bear in mind, if that sounds scary, and there can be consequences like rhabdo, as I found out, but bear in mind, intense weight training is, in my opinion, one of the least invasive things that you can, right? When I say doing something about it, consider consider plastic surgery.
Right.
People
die on the table. They die on the table.
Right. Yeah. And look at people who get a sex change. Now, that's, I think, self-mutilation. What about synthol injections? Is there anything more ludicrous than a synthol is a synthol freak, or starvation diets combined with plenty of uppers and laxatives? I've seen all this stuff, and all of those examples I just gave you stem from the same place. They were all very, very unhappy people, unhappy with how they looked. Look, as long as you're not hurting someone else, do whatever you feel you need to do to get closer.
Yourself. Don't hurt yourself either. I mean, that's it.
So do what you need to do, but understand this too. Once you get there, your best days in the gym are probably going to be behind you. And in truth, you'll probably never get there. If you're if the pillars of your psyche are so deeply rooted in the body image disorder, it's doubtful you'll ever be happy. You will be happier once you start making gains and so on and so forth. But this works in both directions, guys. You've seen women who just die their stick figures. And then you see guys like me who were born like a stick figure and wanted nothing more than to put on weight. So, I did what I needed to do. I don't regret any of it, but that's my take on things.
Your dissatisfaction with your body has more to do with your perception of what a bigger muscular person feels like.
Yes.
And this is why you're never satisfied, because you're probably bigger and more muscular than a lot of your friends, but you're never satisfied. And you'll get bigger and more muscular and you won't be satisfied. And ultimately, you're never going to be Jay Cutler or Ronnie Coleman, because you're never going to be able to dedicate the time, the work, the drugs, and everything else to that for a decade steady. Right. So you need to ask yourself, what is it about your body that you think it says to other people? Because what it's saying to you is, I'm not big enough yet. And what is it about being big that you think is going to change about your life? When I was a kid, I thought that once I had a really hot car, the girls would like me. I thought that once I had a tattoo, the girls would like me. I found out that the car didn't matter. The girls didn't like me. I was a druggie when I was young. I was one of the druggies, so girls didn't like me. Yeah. I got a tattoo. Nobody cared. All of a sudden you realize, wow, it really doesn't matter what other people think at the end of the day. It's what you think. And if you think you look bad, then you need to ask yourself, why do I think that? I mean, are you severely overweight? You have a short leg? What is it about yourself that you don't like? And ask yourself, do you have any friends that have those same similar traits, those phenotypes as you do? And if you do, then ask yourself, do I like them less because they have them? And you'll probably say, no, I love my friends, this guy and that guy. Right. Then why don't you let yourself off the hook then? If you're satisfied with them as people with those things, why are you holding yourself to a different standard? But you got to work on it's up here that you're dealing with. It has nothing to do with your body.
Yeah, it's a very interesting topic to discuss. And that's simply because I've met many people that have come from many different places, and I just try to look at the good in it. My son, for example, I don't think he doesn't hate himself like I did. He's perfectly happy with how he looks. So he may not end up, and likely won't end up, doing what I did. For him, that's the right answer. For me, there was a different, set of circumstances. I had a different want, and I went out and got it.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself, what is it that's missing in your soul that you think this particular body image is going to change? And you'll realize when you start thinking logically, it's not going to change anything. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have the BluePrint tip of the day. And then later in the show, I'm going to share some new training styles I'm experimenting with. And I'd like to enlist some of you in the audience to try it, and I'd like to get feedback. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? The rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor, strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at eatlegendary.com and Amazon.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game to distance itself even Even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
Guys, you've heard about this revolutionary acoustic wave technology that improves your sexual performance. It's been used in Europe for 20 years and has a 90% success rate of reversing symptoms of ED. Even if you're not suffering from ED, it can take you back to peak sexual performance of your younger days. The Phoenix uses powerful sound waves to clear plaque blockage and substantially increase blood flow. It's easy to use, has no side effects, and can be done in the privacy of your own home. Doctors have been charging thousands of dollars for these treatments. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Phoenix and use the code SHR for a special superhuman deal. Regain your sexual prowess today. You've heard me talk about the chill pill on the show and how effective it is at helping people who suffer from social anxiety, or sometimes when you just want to take the edge off to a long, stressful day. Well, listen to this story from Dylan Goutreau.
Definitely takes anxiety away, which I have a long history of having. Started out at 2 milligrams a day of Xanax. That was at 8 years old. And so I stopped using benzos 3 years ago. Extremely difficult. Yeah, so I spent about 3 years trying to find anything and everything I could that would be healthy for me to help with anxiety. Because I'm talking, full out panic attack. The chill pill was the first thing that I've found that actually in the middle of a panic attack I can take, and it definitely subsides.
Go to drseeds.com. That's DRSEEDS.com. Use coupon code SHR and save 20% off your first bottle of the chill pill. Check it out. I promise this is one supplement that delivers. Everybody wants to feel better, be healthier and happier. If you don't sweat profusely on a regular basis, you won't feel as good as you could. Studies have shown the power of infrared sauna. Infrared penetrates 1 to 2 inches into the body. It helps those with back pain, fibromyalgia, arthritis, depression, and anxiety. Patients get relief from infrared sauna. The Good Health Sauna has been shown to be an exercise mimetic, conveying many of the same benefits as cardio. There are a lot of reasons people buy a Good Health Sauna, but the bottom line is you will be a much happier, healthier person by using the Good Health Sauna every day. You'll crave it, you'll love it, and it will be the best purchase you have ever made. Good Health Saunas provide commercial-grade saunas for in-home and commercial use, backed by the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Unmatched customer service and the best financing makes owning one easy and will fit any budget. Go to goodhealthsauna.com/superhumanradio to learn more and save 25% off.
Mind Bullet is a kratom product derived from the coffee family to boost energy and creative juices. Mind Bullet comes in both pill and liquid form for the ultimate pre-workout supplement. When needing a little pick-me-up or to get through the morning fog, Mind Bullet will set your productive course fast. Go to shrnetwork.biz/mindbullet, all one word, today, and save 20%. No subscription required. That's shrnetwork.biz/mindbullet. Get yours today.
Move over, superheroes. This is the Superhuman Channel.
Welcome. Trying to move a video over. I want to try to play later, but it's not working out. Rob, what is the blueprint tip of the day?
The tip of the day is it is never just one big thing or one thing. And so for the last 3 weeks, I've really been killing it in the gym. Big, unusually big jumps in strength on all of my exercises, not just lower body, not just upper, everything. They're the kind of gains that very much surprise you, especially at age almost 51. And so, of course, you wonder, right? You wonder where it's coming from. And it turns out, I wasn't the only person wondering. There was a casual acquaintance in the gym that I normally see, and he came up to me the other day in the gym, and he inquired what I was taking. And that, of course, is code most of the time for, hey, what kind of steroids are you on? Because, creatine doesn't explain that sort of thing. And so I considered that when he asked the question. And of course, I wanted to know what it was that was doing it. And The reason why it's important to answer this question is it's crucial. It's a very crucial one. If you can pinpoint all or at least some of the reasons why you're making this kind of progress, you stand a much better chance of replicating those gains in the future. And so how do we do that? How do we determine what's been going on? We consult our training journal, which 90% of people don't keep. But what it allows you to do is to take a detailed look at what you've been doing in the past 4 weeks. So that's what I did. And here's what I found. Number one, during those 4 to 6 weeks or so, I started 2 new loading sequences. And that those words were chosen very carefully. Loading sequences. My subscribers know what it means, but one of them applied to the entire body, and the other one was a chin-up specific program. Number 2, the gains were very outsized, such as my 1 rep max on chin-ups moved 25 pounds. I increased it by 25 pounds. And that happened inside of 10 weeks. Easy. I'm probably being conservative with that. And so usually when you see a gain that big, the person has lost weight, and therefore it's less total weight that they're pulling up. However, when I looked at my weight, I actually put on around 3 to 5 pounds during that time. So if anything, that would have worked against it. Number 3, did my body composition change? And the answer, of course, was yes. The tape measure was making larger circles around my arms, chest, legs, back, the whole 9 yards. My waist stayed the same. And by the way, I define stayed the same as any change of a 1/4 inch or under, unless you're working with your arms, smaller muscle groups. Number 4, what was I taking during this time? Was I taking anything different? And the answer to that question is yes. I added 2, I'll call them guanidino related compounds they're related to creatine, but they're not creatine. I add these 2 compounds around 5 days a week. I don't even take them every day. Most of the time immediately after training. 5, my wife has told me that during this time, I have been sleeping a lot better. And which kind of surprised me because I think I sleep great all the time. So I asked her what she meant, and she said, you wake up far fewer times during the night, and you're generally less fitful. If I have dreams, they're usually scary or bad ones. So I guess I haven't been having as many of those. And then finally, right, we got to look at diet because that could at least explain part of it. The problem with that is that I am wasn't eating any different than usual. No increase or decrease in calories, no change in macros, no change in how I rotate macros. Nothing diet related then was going to explain it. So what are we left with? We're left with this. It's my opinion that my newfound progress was due entirely to the combination of some or even all of those factors that I just listed. Okay. Not any one thing. It's never just one thing, right? When you're looking at gains like this and you're really doing a deep dive analysis, it's never one thing. Even if you're using powerful anabolic steroids and other bodybuilding drugs, because the dirty little secret out there is this: you can take all that stuff, but it ain't that powerful if what you're eating is microwave popcorn, charcoalberry, or whatever crunch, and you're hanging out with the Keebler Elves. So, good luck pinpointing it down to, hey, I'm just using one thing and that must be it. So in an effort to bottom line things here and bring it back to the listener and where they're at, my final analysis, I seem to be running 2 great training programs in parallel, which resulted in rather dramatic strength increases. And those can be thought of then as the engines that set your gains in motion. You don't flip the switch, muscle growth doesn't happen. That's flipping the switch. Number two, my diet remained unchanged, but that just means, in my opinion, it worked like a charm to support the favorable body recomposition changes that I was experiencing. And for those inquisitive, I'm running a hybrid of intermittent fasting during the week and the anabolic diet on weekends. And so finally, as my body started putting on muscle and taking off fat, the muscle building part, the accelerated muscle building part of that equation got a boost, I think, from my supplement plan. The compounds that I mentioned, the compounds in question, probably allowed my muscles to, like creatine, hold more water, and like creatine, super stock it with ATP, but also a few other nifty things they do. And by the way, I did all of that without the water retention that I usually get from creatine or the moon face or whatnot, which again would partially explain some of the strength gains. So, why that's important to you. One, you need to keep a training journal. It's not up for debate. You need to take one. You also need to have a plan, right? And what that means is you need a minimum of one and ideally 2 or more training programs to use for the next 6 to 8 weeks. You should also be on a diet that you can live with and that, that's appropriate for your goals, and let it take direction from your training. I don't know, those aren't the perfect words, but try to let the training dictate the effects that your dieting is having. If there's a mismatch somewhere, like you're trying to put on a lot of muscle, but you're eating like a bird, it's going to show up in the tape measure and in the gym, usually within the first 3 weeks. It depends how severe it is and what mismatch, but within 3 weeks, you'll know whether you're on the right diet. Also, you should take baseline tape measurements. Have a baseline and also retake those measurements every 3 weeks. I think you're going to be pretty surprised at what you're able to see. As far as supplements, if you're using a supplement that's appropriate, for your goals, then one of two situations. You either need to be using it all by itself, or you need to keep everything else constant, right? The other dozen things maybe you're taking, and add this stuff. If you can do that, you should have a fairly reliable idea as to whether or not it's having an effect, and if so, whether the cost justifies the benefits. If you don't have the time, the interest, or the inclination, right, to research all these things, concurrently, or alternately, you just want the best information possible, I'd love to have you, obviously, as a subscriber. But subscriber or not, those 4 things that I mentioned are the keys to success. Notice I use the plural of keys because it's never just one thing. So stop looking there. It causes a lot of people to major in the minors, and then they're done. That's that. Can barely hear you again.
Oh, I don't know why. Can you hear me now?
A little bit better.
I don't understand. I think it's my microphone. I really do.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's a good thing I got 3 more mics here. I'm going to swap one out during this break. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk to people about a new training style I'm experimenting with. I'd like to get some people's input on. Maybe they could try it at home. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Superhuman Radio.
Cool.
Chronic stress leaves us tired, distracted, and physically vulnerable. Apollo Neuro is here to help you take control. Apollo Neuro is a new wearable that trains your nervous system to be more resilient to stress. Apollo's gentle vibrations use your sense of touch to help you recover from stress, going from fight or flight to rest and digest so you can relax, get to sleep, focus, and stay healthy. Developed by physicians and neuroscientists, Apollo Neuro has been tested in multiple clinical trials and is proven to improve heart rate variability, the key biometric of stress. Special offer for friends of Superhuman Radio. Try Apollo Neuro today and get 15% off your purchase at apolloneuro.com/superhuman. That's APOLLONEURO.com/superhuman.
Quest Nutrition makes bars, cookies, chips, and pizzas out of complete dairy-based proteins. Our products minimize net carbs and sugar without sacrificing taste. Each delicious chocolate-flavored chip, cookie chunk, and crunchy crumble is custom-made to maintain Quest macros. It's time to enjoy foods that work for you, not against you. It's time to enjoy your Quest.
My friends over at Bioptimizers, makers of industry-leading digestive supplements, have created a special recipe for you that helps boost brain performance in the morning. They make products Primergen V and Primergen M, potent liquid vitamins and mineral formulas loaded with absorbable vitamin Bs and trace minerals in a fulvic and humic acid base. You stack that with 3 capsules of Capex, their enzyme and energy supplement, and the effect is even stronger. You'll be buzzing without jitters or any negative side effects for hours. Bioptimizers calls this the Brain Boost Stack, and they're running a special promotion for you at shrnetwork.biz/brainstack. That's shrnetwork.biz/BRAINSTACK. You can get an additional 10% off from the normal package price with the coupon code SHR10. It's a powerful way to get your brain going and optimize your daily focus, memory, and performance. I love beef, and if you love beef, listen up. I've discovered the best tasting beef in the world, and that's not an exaggeration, at Piedmontese.com. The Piedmontese breed is famous from Italy for being lean and unbelievably tender, with half the fat and calories of traditional beef. Even typically tough cuts are tender when it comes from the Piedmontese cows. And for the first time ever, Piedmontese cows are being raised here in the USA. Get 25% off all beef and free shipping on orders of $100 or more at Piedmontese.com with code SHR. Go to Piedmontese.com and use code SHR today. You will never eat any other type of beef ever again.
Want to improve mental energy and focus? Try the new Superhuman Stack from Pure Nootropics. Stack Dynamine, Zalbutamin, Theocrine, and palmitoyl ethanolamide together and feel the lights go on in your brain. Find your perfect mix of these 4. Carl likes 1 cap of each and 2 caps of Dynamine. Bam! Lights on. Go to shrnetwork.biz/superhuman stack, all one word, today, and get yours for 25% off plus free shipping. That's shrnetwork.biz/superhuman stack.
Do you remember those delicious toaster pastries you had when you were a kid? You know, the rectangular sugar-filled snacks? Well, guess what? Legendary Foods has just made low-carb toaster pastry. This is the first of its kind, and honestly, these things are amazing. They have 3 to 4 net carb, less than 1 gram of sugar, and 9 grams of protein. You can eat them right out of the wrapper or lightly toast them. The only question is, which flavor, strawberry or brown sugar cinnamon? They're available at eatlegendary.com and Amazon.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where we use oxygen for the power of good.
Welcome back. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me, Rob?
Yes, much better.
Okay, let's see if that fixes it. So I want to talk to everybody about a training approach that I've kind of stumbled on and I've been using. And I've shared it now with several people at my gym, but also Bill Tocco, who is a personal trainer who works with a lot of IFBB competitors as well as celebrities, has been playing with it. And we're all kind of going, wow, this is pretty interesting. I stumbled upon this quite by accident. I did a photo shoot recently where the fellow who was shooting the pictures was asking me to hold the weight steady, you know, instead of just doing a rep. And I noticed something the next day after the photo shoot. My muscles felt different. And that entire day, I had a pump. And so this is a couple of weeks ago. I started toying with this and experimenting with it. And I think I've stumbled upon a way to help people gain muscle faster. And this could be just something you switch to from your normal program. But before I describe it, I want to show people what it looks like. So This is I tried to upload this to the StreamYard, but I couldn't do it. But this is me. Let's see if I can get it without the light reflecting. This is me doing seated leg curls. Let me see. So what you're going to notice is, yeah. Okay, I come back, I hold the weight contracted for a second, halfway it's contracted for a second, and then I let it up, and I'm not letting the weight off. When I extend my legs, the load is still on my hamstrings. And this is one plate shy of the entire stack. And I'm stopping, and I'm stopping. Okay, that was it. So and I'm just doing 5 reps. So like today I trained chest and shoulders. Because the last time I trained chest and shoulders, I started off with shoulders. Today I started off with chest. So I did a seated chest press. I used a machine, and I used a very heavy weight, a weight that I would normally do 10 reps with. And I did 5 sets in this fashion. I pushed the weight all the way out to the top, held it for a second, came down halfway to the midpoint, held it for a second, came all the way down, but not till the weight came off. The weight was still loaded on me, held it for a second, and pushed out. And I did the reps this way. I did 5. The first set is easy. The second set is a little harder. You got to do 5 sets, and with this approach. And I predict if you try this, the single most common comment I've gotten from everybody who's tried it is, I had a pump the whole day. You know, if one guy trained legs, he was doing leg extensions and leg curls like I did yesterday. And I saw him this morning. He said, man, he goes, my legs were pumped all day long. So I have a theory why this is. I'm not going to get into it right now because I'm actually going to write up a thorough description and discussion on how to use this approach.
Right.
This approach is primarily fast twitch, because when you think about it, when you stop, those are fast twitch fibers locking. When you start again from that dead stop, those are fast twitch fibers launching you again. Now, sure, you're going to enlist some slow twitch fibers by the 4th and 5th set, because now you're getting fatigued, right? And you will start to fail. And you may only get 3 reps the last couple sets, and that's fine. But if you give this a try, pick a body part, go in and train the normal. Like, let's say you have a normal day of chest and shoulders, where you end up doing 3 different movements for chest and 3 different movements for shoulders, and you progressively increase the weight, and you end up going from 12 reps to 5 reps or something like that. Do it this way instead. Start out with a weight that you would only get 10 reps out of. Do just 5 reps this way and stop, rest, and then do another set. And I promise you, by the 4th and 5th set, you're going to feel it. But more importantly, what you're going to notice is 2 things. Number one, those muscles will be pumped the whole day. I'm not kidding you. You're gonna be like in the afternoon, like, I can't believe it. Like, my chest is still pumped. And the day after, instead of the normal fatigue you have from a really grueling workout, you'll feel some soreness, but it will be soreness that is associated with muscle activation. You'll actually feel like your muscles are more engaged all day long the day after.
Yeah.
I stumbled upon this. I'm training this way now exclusively. I am seeing changes in my body very quickly. And I have a funny feeling that this would benefit a lot of people. And my plan is to train this way for 3 weeks in a row, and then switch back to a more traditional graduated rep, progressive rep scheme. I have a feeling I'm going to be a lot stronger when I go back.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Now that I think about it, historically, these type of programs have been very favorably received. And I'll give you an example. although it's certainly not the same, but it has bits and pieces that are. The old York barbell isometric routine that came out years ago advocated holding the weight in, I think, up to 3 positions, very similar to what you're doing.
Right.
And also, however, some full range reps. But the point is this: segmented repetition routines that I can remember have all been found to be very favorable with the people that have tried them. I don't know why.
You're doing a 5x5 routine, basically.
Right.
You're doing 5 sets of 5 and 5 reps. But you'll know if you're using the right weight. When you stop in the middle, if it bounces, if you can't just stop it dead, like hitting the brakes in your car, lighten your weight. It's very important that you control that stop. Number 2, if you look at the range of motion as an arc, and so you have the top stop and the bottom stop, the middle stop can be dead middle, or you can alternate. Do one set where you stop closer to fully contracted, do one set where you stop closer to fully extended, or alternate through that 5 reps. Just move it around. Just let it move around. You don't have to stop dead center of the let's say the range of motion arc with every single one. And before you go up in weight, add a set. So if you're doing 5 sets and you're failing on 3 to 4 reps on the 4th and 5th, and then all of a sudden after training this way for a week or 2, you go, I do all 5 and 5. Before you go up in weight, add a 6th set. Before you go up in weight, add a 7th set. Get all the way to 10 sets of doing it that way before you go back to 5x5 and up your weight.
I think it was I don't know how you did this, but it was a stroke of genius to put it within the 5x5 framework for many of the reasons that we discussed right at the top of the show. It's really hard to go wrong, even with an intensification technique like this. It's hard to go wrong. I predict you're going to be very happy with what you see, and it'll probably peak around the 6 to 8 week mark.
Well, I'll have to change maybe then. I'll have to switch it up.
Yeah.
You know what? I attribute the 5 reps and the 5 rep scheme. So Lee Labrada once told Porter Cottrell, if you leave the gym and you don't have a pump, you train too long. Lee was a big fan of training up to the pump and then stopping.
Right.
Okay. So my theory is that the muscle is able to contain the congestion until the muscle gets so fatigued from the flushing in and out of blood that it no longer contains the congestion and you lose the pump. Okay. When you do just 5 reps this way, you don't lose the pump, and you walk out the door of the gym with it, and you realize like hours later, like, I can't believe it, man. My biceps, my triceps, everything is still rock hard.
Yeah. And you're working within the context of the negative or the eccentric component.
Right.
So you're able to exploit that. It's why hasn't anybody thought of this before? You should trademark it. Trademark it.
Someone will steal it. It doesn't matter. I can't trademark it, I'm sure. But I stumbled on it by accident during the photo shoot.
Yeah.
I did bent over dumbbell rows with a 100-pound dumbbell. And I mean real bent over dumbbell rows. I wasn't kneeling on a bench.
Right.
I put one hand on my knee, and then the other hand is pulling. And so, because I feel like that's the right way to do it, because that gives you core strength too. My glutes feel that, my hamstrings feel that. And so when I would get to the top of the movement, the guy would say, hold it. And I would hold it. And then he'd go, well, let it down halfway. And I'd let it down halfway. And he'd say, hold it. And I would hold it. And then when I let it all the way down, I was so far away from the floor, it just hung there. So my muscles was still, my back was still, even in the stretch portion, still bearing the weight.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing 4 or 5 reps this way with both arms. And then I ended up doing, what else did I do? I did bench press. I did pec deck. I did a bunch of different things. And I noticed when I went home that day, I was like, wow, that was like the most productive workout. I should do those more often. And then once I started playing with it, I started to feel the limitations of it. I realized, like, you can alternate a variety of different things to intensify it. Obviously, as I said, the stronger you get, you start adding sets until you have 10 sets before you shift gears and add weight. The other thing you could do is hold for 2 seconds, hold for 3 seconds. You know, it doesn't always have to be 1 second. But the key is, no matter what intensification approach you use, when you're moving the weight, it's moving. When it's time to stop, it's got to like stop like you hit the brakes. If you go to stop it and it bounces a little bit, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. It's got to stop. It's got to stop.
Well, static holds arguably are a training technique all their own. And so we know there are benefits. We also know, and I can see the study now in my mind. I can't recall what the title was, but we also know that holding progressively heavier weights statically is a signal, right, for muscle growth. You know, puts the hypertrophy gears in motion. Here, though, it seems like you get the added advantage of all the different key points along the curve in the full range movement.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I would appreciate if some people in the audience would try it and email me at onair@superhumanradio.net and just tell me what you've discovered. That's all. Help me add to the knowledge base so that we can create a real, fully well-rounded working program, training pattern.
Yeah, we got to come up with a name too. The Lenore something or other.
No, I just like what I called it. Hold on a second. Where was it? Segmented rep training is what I called it.
Yeah, I see it now.
Segmented rep. Yeah, I sent it to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to give this a whirl on at least one movement, and certainly report back next week.
Dude, when I trained, I did pull downs this way.
Yep.
It was crazy intense. You know, especially stopping all the way at the top where I'm all lats are just, I mean, I could feel it right in here, right at the top of the lat. And then I would pull all the way, I would, pull it halfway down and pull it down to my chest and then let it up. I mean, it was intense.
I wonder what pullover machine would feel like.
I did pull over. I did I'll get pictures. Next day I train back. I'll get pictures of pullovers. I did them.
Cool.
It was
very
hard.
cool.
I had to go much lighter, and because I control, because I don't hold on to the pullover, but I do them the right way.
Elbows, yeah.
Elbows, and I was stopping that sucker on the way up once. Holy mackerel, it was hard.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Good stuff. So help me out, everybody in the audience, and Coach Rob, and let's see if we can come up. Maybe we'll call it the Superhuman Training Program. How about that?
Yeah.
That's all right. Thanks for everybody who watched and listened, and your questions and comments. And we'll see you tomorrow with more Superhuman Radio. Take care.
Cool. All right.